Sometimes you have to do that because the easy challenge is one you'll get lazy with. The big challenge gets you hungry.
Oh, how the tables turn.
That's a heavy topic, and we need to focus on that. If not for yourself, then do it for your children.
Black book is in
Hey,
Black
Black
book.
Men Talk, Black Book. What is up, everybody? It is Dr. Vibe here, host and producer of the award-winning Dr. Vibe show, the home of Epic Conversations, and I'm the host of Epic Conversations, 2018 Innovation Award winner, 2020 Best Podcast News Award winner, given out by the Canadian Ethnic Media Association. Yeah, it is by them. I forgot. Yeah, it is by them. Also, I co-host and co-produce the only online show in the world for dads, fathers, and male caregivers. It's sponsored by Dove Men Plus Care. And being part of that movement, that our team has reached out directly and indirectly to over 400,000 dads, fathers, and male caregivers around the world. And I'm speaking that as we come to the end of this year, and not too early into the new year, it'll be 500,000. So as always, I'd like to say you're blessed, highly favored, a magnet for miracles, and a solution for someone's problem. Welcome to Black Men Can Talk, where Black Canadian men come together to have real, unfiltered conversations about life, culture, and community. And I'm joined by one of my co-hosts, Kofi Sadat. What is up?
I am great. I am feeling great today, brother. Good to see the face. Good to be back
good
in
to
the
see you
face.
back. What's been going on in your world?
Good, a whole lot. This has just been a mixed week. It's like Toronto weather, where we got snow, then we got sun, then we got a little rain. The whole week has been from Sunday to now. We had all those expressions of the weather, but also, if weather is a metaphor for emotions, it's been that kind of that week. It's been everything, bro. It's been everything. But
yeah, I was outside today. It was so windy. I felt like it was full of holes. It just was blowing right through me. I felt like I had no matter, just like blowing right through me. It was just really crazy. But I don't know if we'll get another spout of. And you know what? So I guess it was a week ago today we had our first snowfall.
That's what I'm saying. Here's
the crazy thing for where I live. All right, I have a little bit of a tree on my front lawn, but on one side I have a family that has a big, huge tree, and then across the street there's a place that has a tree. So when the wind blows, guess who gets all the leaves?
I hear you.
But here's the thing. One of my neighbors was saying, this is crazy. Snow is fall, and we still haven't been able to clean up our leaves. Like there's still leaves coming down.
Yeah.
I'm going, what?
Yeah. What? Like I said, it's if you're in, it's not just Toronto, but I did speak to my brother-in-law in Detroit. I saw him last night. He was up for a visit, but I said, yeah, been getting similar weather like us. Like it's all part of the game, bro.
Yeah, 100%. So what's a win? I know, and there's a bunch of I'll get to it in a little bit, but there's an interesting thing happening with live viewership right now. But give us a win since we last spoke last week.
Oh man, you know what? This is I'm gonna say this. I'm very humbled by this week. In terms when you ask the question, what's the win? And I say that because
a win.
Yeah, there were so many things. Well, the super win, I will say the super win actually happened last night, and I'm going to speak a little bit more on this. But one of my sons is part of Toronto Fashion Week. He has a label of his own, MBS, made by Sekou, and as part of Toronto Fashion Week, there was a competition. It's interesting. It was like a fashion show, but here's the kicker. It was in a boxing ring. I'll explain.
Okay.
Yeah, so you could imagine. So that's that idea alone, right? I want to give a shout out to the organizers, Magnolia, and I say that because I've never been in an environment like that where there's probably about, I'd say, 10 different designers. Okay. And when you walk into the place, there was just I felt like it was like a secret world, like this elevation of young Black creatives in the fashion world. And, a lot of them were young black males, I will say, from what I could see,
Good.
right? The designers. But that being said, I mean, just the whole environment of being there, everybody being supportive, and it wasn't a party. You know what I mean? It wasn't a sports event. The typical things. It was actually fashion, creatives, and that was a great environment to be in. So they did a great job with it. But the win, I will say, is a collective win. So my son did end up winning the competition.
What?
Yeah, I was just like, what is this? What I mean, I'm like, oh,
Come
what?
on now.
Yeah, so it was a huge win.
What?
Yeah, but I think more than we were talking about it this morning with the win, like it wasn't just about the him individually winning, but really just about the whole event, the atmosphere, the support, to see a predominant crowd of black people at a fashion show that
Right.
wasn't a typical fashion show, right? So it was just nice to see that. So I thought it was a great win to just being
Okay,
it.
so
That was
we have to do, because of that, we have to do this for your son.
Woo! I'll let him know. I'll let him know.
All right, we give an applause.
Yeah.
Absolutely, that's fantastic. So, does your son go in a lot of these events? Enters a lot of these events.
Actually, I was discussing with him today, and he's like, intentionally, he has not, because on his plan, right? He has his plan that he's right now he's studying in school, and his goal is to learn as much as he can, and
Right.
then he'll come out with his stuff. But he said he can't. He did it because of the whole creative nature of the actual event. So again, like I said, they did it at a boxing,
Boxing ring.
by by Spadina and King, right?
Okay.
Yeah, and it's like top floor kind of stuff, and it's a real boxing arena, right? But yeah, so the organizers were saying, hey, like they came up with that creative idea, so people coming into the ring, and then you had the fashion people outside of it, and it really was, like I said, just on its own, such a creative idea. But no, he doesn't really go into these things because he said his focus is going to be to learn his skills, to do what he needs to do through school experience and whatever, and then he'll do it. So but he said, he just liked the way that these guys were putting this together. So he ended up saying, yeah, he'll throw his hat in the ring, figuratively and literally, right? So yeah.
Wow, that's fantastic.
So
That's
what about
great.
yourself, brother? What was your win for the week?
Well, there's so many. One of the wins is that I'm beginning to get more and more of an understanding and use for me of AI.
Okay.
So I'm learning some different software stuff, and incorporating what I do to broadcast has been very cool. And okay, well, here's an interesting win. Was it Friday? And this is, I guess, one of the things my parents taught me, especially my granddad said, live good with people. And what she meant by that is don't burn bridges with people,
Yeah.
right? Even
Yeah.
if you have a disagreement, make it cool, no drama, etc. Go your separate ways. Now, I got a call from a gentleman who I speak to periodically. We used to deal more, but because of business environment and things on his end, we don't chat as much.
Yeah.
And he gave me a call on Friday. He asked me, so Dr. Vibe, how you doing? I go, "Oh, fine, doing all right." He says, do you know about Black Enterprise's event coming up in Toronto on Thursday? I go, yeah, I've heard about it. I wasn't, to be honest, really wanting to think about going to it because been there, la 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 la.
Yeah.
And he said, well, they are up here and they want to get on some media platforms. And the guy said, and I told them they need to get on your platform.
Right.
I went,
Wow.
okay.
Yeah.
And he said, I'm sending an email right now to their digital content lead and so to get the things happen. So yeah, like as soon as I get off the call, I'll actually send her an email also.
No. Nice.
So
Nice.
get off the call, and within half an hour of that conversation, she emails me back. We'd like to do something. Would you be able to do something on Monday? Say, hey, first of all, thanks for hope you're doing fine and safe. which is
Yes.
always my standard thing to just check in to see how people are doing. Really thankful to have this opportunity. This is what I'm available on Monday. Then I also sent her a video introduction separately.
Right.
And then after that, the senior vice president of Black Enterprise sent me an email.
Wow, that's big, man.
And he said, he said, I'd love to do on Monday. I'm available at 12 noon on Monday. You just give me all the details. I emailed him. I said, hey, hope you're fine and safe. Thank you very much for confirming time. Do you have time for an 11-minute conversation just to go over some things for Monday?
Yeah.
So I made sure I emailed him. I also sent him a text message on WhatsApp, and I also sent him a text message via regular text message, 3 different ways.
Right.
Saying, hey, do you have time? So he sent me a message early Friday and say, hey, I'm ready now. I'm available now. Called him right then and then. We had a conversation. I said, wow. Do you know anything about me? He says, oh, I've been following you for years, man.
Bro. Listen,
but the lesson here is being
on the clapping, bro. There you go.
But it's what I'm saying is being consistent.
Yeah, bro. That's it. Consistency.
So we chatted, and he, we started talking about health. I said, yeah, there's so many different, so many different aspects of health we could talk about. Yeah, he's actually a professional bodybuilder.
Oh, wow.
Himself.
Wow.
We're going to be talking about various aspects of health, like mental health, bring a healthy mindset to business, etc. All that. Right. So that's happening on, we're broadcasting live on November 16th. Tomorrow, November 17th at 12 noon. All right. We'll be doing the live conversation, and they are expecting me to attend their event so I can get a personal introduction on Thursday.
Nice. That's nice.
So the story then is just don't burn your bridges. Like this gentleman who I hadn't heard from in months, he said, bang, this is a guy you got to get on his platform. I said, okay. All right.
Yo, that's
we
what we
do
need.
it. So it's been a crazy week because I've had since Friday, I did. And we can talk about this after break. I actually had 2 ladies on one of my shows this past Friday who do real estate in Jamaica.
Right.
And they were actually in Jamaica during the hurricane. One of them lives there. The other one, she travels back and forth, but getting a firsthand perspective of what went on and what's still going on and what's needed.
Right.
And the lady that was in Jamaica there were times it was traumatic for her because I did not know until they told me the day before in some parts of Jamaica, they had an earthquake.
Wow. Wow.
So that conversation had a conversation we've done. This is my second one today, tomorrow morning, the morning vibe. And then 12 noon, Mr. Alfred Edmond Jr. of Black Enterprise. Well, I love what I do. It's a get to, not a got to that I get have it down. So those are a lot of good wins. And then actually went out with a family yesterday who the mother transitioned about 2 or 3 months ago, and we had some good time and sharing. So it was all good.
Yo, that's good. That's good, man. Yeah, a week of wins, man. A week of wins. That's what we need, right? And we're sharing it out. So anybody out there, if you got wins, let us know. You know what I mean? Like we definitely
absolutely. And when we come back from the other side, there's some other odds. And there's technical wise, there's another win for this show that we can also share. And but yeah, that's it. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take a little break, and we will be back in a few seconds because we have so much to share. So we'll be back in a few seconds. Here we go.
Check out the Dr. Vibe Show live tomorrow at 12 noon Eastern, where Dr. Vibe will be speaking with Alfred Edmond Jr., Senior Vice President and Executive Editor at Black Enterprise, about how health is currency.
Love
There you
it.
go.
Love it.
There you go. So yeah, so that is happening. And yeah, there's so many different things. And I just want to be able to share some of this stuff with especially people who look like us as possible. And also, was it earlier last week? There's a fairly significant mortgage broker and his son, and another lady who was born in Jamaica goes up here who's an immigration lawyer. They asked me to spend some time with them and just show some things that I use on a daily basis when it comes to digital content. And they were like blown away.
Yeah.
And which is wonderful. And they got it. And there may be a potential that the lady who does the real estate stuff, well, the lawyer may want me to do some work with her, not for her, with her.
Yeah.
Because she has a lot of clients in Jamaica, so she travels back and forth, immigration stuff, etc. So before we go further, subscribe to the Dr. Vibe Show on YouTube and hit the notification button. Also, like the Dr. Vibe Show on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, TikTok, Blue Sky, and Substack. And to advertise your business, product, or service on any of the platforms, email us, me, dr.vib at the drvibeshow.com. And also, if you got a question or a take, if you're on your phone, if you're on any digital device, go to callme.road.com and use the code FSPL8L. Then you'll get to another screen where you put in your name. I actually recorded a video for it. So next week on Black Men Can Talk, you'll actually see a video on how to do it. Because I can tell you, you can't see me, but actually a video now where people will be able to see what you need to do to call into the show.
That's big. That's big, brother. We need that. We need that.
So that is done. So where do you want to continue, or we can I can chat a box if you want more.
Yeah, as I mentioned, again, it's been a different type of week, or in terms of emotions, happenings, and whatnot. But a constant theme, and I love the fact you mentioned about consistency, because that's been something I've been trying to preach for the last few weeks, with folks, man. Stay consistent, and also I want to, again, give us some flowers, because we're coming up to a year that we've been doing this show.
Yes. Here's another funny thing. You mentioned this, and I think there were there there is a business person that we chat every week,
right?
Just to do check-ins, check each other's pulse, bounce things off. And on Friday said, "Happy anniversary." I go, "What do you mean? What are you talking about?" They go, "It was 6 years ago last Friday,
right,
that we first met each other, and we've basically almost every Friday have done an hour check-in for the last 6 years." I just went, "What?" And there was another sort of anniversary that someone put in my lap the other day, but I can't remember. Well, that was another thing, but I just went, "Wow, 6 years." And I go, "Where's the time gone?" It's like fantastic. And this person runs their own virtual CFO organization, and she's has me on her advisory board. And it's so ironic because that's accounting, all that stuff. And I failed my first year of university. I in fact failed my first exam in university, and I quit accounting AO1 after the first term. So it's so funny. I'm advising for an organization that does accounting, and that is the farthest,
you never know,
farthest of my strengths. But that was another cool thing that happened over the last week. Yeah, I didn't realize, but if I track back, there's a lot of stuff that went on.
Yeah. So I was saying as well, and for me in my week, the consistent or the constant, I will say, really was about young Black males, right? Young Black males this week. It was a lot of in my sphere, and a lot of things I've seen around the place, right? So definitely So it's interesting. You go from lows to highs, highs to low. But I was doing my weekly program, my after school program with some young black boys in the northwest part of the city.
Mhm,
Incredible, just love them. And
mhm.
they actually, if you remember, we had Terrence who does the boxing. We had him here on
Yes.
guest, so he came and he was doing some boxing with the young boys, and some other activities we were doing, but really it was nice to see them, and they were pretty disciplined. They were learning a new skill, and you had a older black man, gentleman, connecting with the younger black males, which is always important, right? So that was
Sure.
just amazing
100%.
to see that interaction, and then to remember, of course, the importance of us always giving back to the younger ones, right? And recognizing that we have a role to play. You don't have to come with the latest TikTok dance or
Oh,
know the
please.
craze that they're into, but what you give of yourself, as a black man, and I'll definitely encourage other black men. We always have something to teach, right? Never think you don't have
Yeah.
anything. And then the
Uh,
other part is that the young men, they need it. They need it, right?
it's yeah, this is it's a timely conversation.
Mhm,
Uh, I Now you have a lot of interaction with younger black men, and I do frequently also.
mhm.
I'm gonna put this question out to you, and you can take it wherever you want. Do you feel there's a crisis with young black men?
You know, as you say that, um, I'm gonna share, you know, something again that's, I think I shared with a little bit of it with you
Yes.
this week.
I think I know what the road you're gonna go down.
Yeah, and we definitely want to give more ear to this. But yeah, I definitely think there's a crisis, and a lot of the crisis has to do with, the way that we've been raised and socialized as younger from younger black males to really keep things to ourselves and not openly show so much emotion. And then, the challenge with that is that as we grow into our older selves, those habits and those values and those things, I would say that for the most part undo us, because we bury a lot of the things that are challenging us, and more importantly, we don't reach out, right? Because reaching out is seen as a sign of weakness. And so, unfortunately, um you know over the last couple of years, I've seen more young black men in my life and adjacent that unfortunately have either succumb to self-harm, or they're living harmful lifestyles, um or they're putting themselves in dangerous situations, you
Mhm.
know that will have a certain ending, or possibly have an unfortunate ending to their lives or their health or whatever. So I do think we're in the crisis where it's a crisis of changing folks' mindset, um, of altering what values around manhood that we've been taught. And for us as the next generation of folks, how do we pass it on to the younger generation? How do we shift that? I'm saying that because unfortunately, a young man I work with for, you know, it's been for eons, I would say, but unfortunately, he had succumbed to some self harm this week. So it was really heavy this week, for myself and for those who know him. And brother Kofi also worked with him as well, right? So, but I also want to give, in that same breath, I want to give the brother some flowers. You know what I mean? Because he's not just somebody who was out there, but as a young man, he was actually giving back since he was a teenager. When I say giving back, he was using his music as a mode to help other young black people, and young people in general, not just young black people, but young people. So Jay Legit, aka I say Junior, because that was his name, but Junior really was out there, helping other young people from a very young age. and including the children, right?
Mhm.
So he was very deep in that, right? So I'm not sure. Obviously, you know, we're going to give our flowers and our condolences, and you know, we are having a community healing circle this Thursday. For those who, you know, we just need to get together and really, you know, have some conversations, have some healing, reflect and connect, right? You know, because, you know, he was a young man that lived a life of purpose, right? No matter what struggles happen, we all struggle, right? But I think the loneliness we talk about of not being able to really share and be open. I'm not saying that's his situation 100%, but I know that in terms of a lot of the young black men that I encounter and others tell me about it, you know, there is that piece around, you know, struggling to share your emotions, your vulnerability with others, and then, you know, it can go in some places that are probably not the most positive. What about yourself? What are your thoughts around, you know?
Wow, that's a lot. So I'll take where I can. I'll just jump in.
Mhm,
Uh, well, first of all, my condolences to the family, and I think that's
mhm.
where I want to start off first.
Right.
And there's so many. Where do I want to start? Okay, I'll pick this. In general, and people may push back with me on this, but I don't mind. Society these days, yes, it's still a man's world, but for a black man, especially a young black man,
Mhm,
it's a very steep climb. And there's a number of different factors, social, economic, etc. Um, and it goes back to the core of the black family.
mm,
That's where we got to start. And I love the perspective that you brought in, sort of the intergenerational piece too.
right.
I was speaking with a couple today, good friends. Uh, the husband is taking care of his mother. Mother is not in great health to the point where they moved her from downtown Toronto into their home.
Right.
And the mother is not being really cooperative to him. She's
Mm,
trying to help him, and at times she's abusive to him, and it's hurting him.
right.
And I always like to ask this question to black men. I said, if you are in crisis, whatever that looks like to you, do you have a black man that you can reach out to,
Mm,
regardless what age you are?
good question. Good
You know,
question.
regardless. A number of years ago during the pandemic, where engagement was really a lot with men, and I think it's still carried on. There was a gentleman that I met online, and he had a great idea. He said, "You know, I'd like you to be on my board of directors." I said, "Well, you don't run a company." He says, "No, no, no. What he set up is that every month he picked about 4 or 5 guys, and we did it for a while virtually. He was in California, but once a month we'd get together. He would basically just share everything that was going on in his life,
Yeah.
and he asked for our feedback, whatever it was. Now that's to the extreme. He had a bunch of us. I always am concerned. Forget about the black boys, black men in general.
Yeah. Yeah. For sure.
You have that one person that you can reach out to, right? Can you, oh, and look who's in the house. Norman Radio. Yeah, you were in my show yesterday. Thank you, Norman Radio. Good to see you again. Good to see you. Maybe you wanted, I'd love to get your commentary on that, but so Kofi, I will put out to you. If you want, I can answer the question first.
Right.
Like, do you have at least another brother that if you're having a challenging moment or moments that you can reach out to?
You know, I think I have beside my brothers, like I have a lot of brothers. I've been blessed to have a lot of brothers, like,
Yeah.
in terms of like physical, like family brothers, right? So,
Yeah.
um, so I do have that, but I think I have brothers in my life for um different reasons. And but
Yes.
I would say this as well, that I can do a better job of reaching out to my brothers, right? Because again, we speaking, with the I also struggle sometimes with reaching out because, we're supposed to be able to kind of just take everything on. But it just takes a little thing. Like I said, I know the other week, myself and two of my brethren got together. We just broke bread, played some dominoes, some ludi, laughed at each other, and then we're like, yo, we should do this more. So I think sometimes I just need the reminder. And I would say, others might need it as well. But yeah, I have a group of folks that I know I can reach out to. But I also want to acknowledge, I think that as you get older, you lose some of those close
Yes.
connections for various reasons, right? But definitely, what about yourself? Do you have
Oh,
board of
I
directors?
definitely
Hmm.
I have some people on speed dial. Right? But it's reciprocal.
Right, that's good.
It's not
That's
just
good.
one way, it's two way, it's reciprocal. I have at least 3 or 4 that I could reach out, and there's others if I reach out to, they would give me their time.
Right,
And
right.
they know vice versa. It's the
Right.
same way
Yeah,
because it if you try to do this alone, it gonna like as I share with some people, if you're not careful, life will kill you.
yeah, straight up. Yeah, and you're
You
not
know,
meant to do it alone. That's the other thing. I think we have
no,
to really acknowledge that you're not meant to do this life thing alone, right?
well, yeah, I agree. I
Yeah,
agree. And I need one thing I'd like to do in the near future is I haven't been around some young people in a while, and I need that exposure. I haven't been around young people in a while. Just sit down and hang out and have some good conversation that will help me. They may think I'm going to be serving them. They're going
yeah,
to be serving me. I'm going to learn from them.
right. All right. Well, I have an open invitation. Open
Oh,
invitation. Yes. So next Sunday, don't be not next Sunday. 2 Sundays from now, don't be too busy. I
what
gotta
what
invite you.
time?
We meet from what time? From probably 12 till 4. Even if you just stop by, no agenda, just come by.
Where do you gather?
We're in the east side. We're gonna be in the east side, so
That's
around
all
the
right.
morning side and Ellesmere area.
Okay.
So we
Oh,
will.
yeah, 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 yeah. No,
Hey,
that's
yeah,
that's that's fine. No, that's fine. That's my sweet spot. Just hanging out and having conversations with people and just listening
yeah.
and learning and just improving.
Hmm.
I you know, I've just seen a lot of people going through a lot of stuff.
Yeah,
And and I'll merge this into, the conversation I had with these 2 ladies that were in Jamaica during
yeah,
Hurricane Melissa, and one of them's still there. And one of them is pushing to say, you know what? You need to come down here and help the men here because they're going through a lot.
yeah, yeah, for
You
sure.
know, I don't know where it's gonna take me. Who
Mhm.
knows?
Yeah, and I
Who
think I
knows?
think to continue our conversation, I was again reasoning with a brother this week. Shout out to Honey Guru. We've had him on the show before as well.
Yes. How is Honey
Yes,
Guru?
yeah. So he's good. He's starting an initiative, of course, to support Jamaica in terms of the hurricane. He's actually from one of the places, Westmoreland. That's where his family's from. So one of
Yeah.
the places that obviously were devastated by the hurricane. So he's starting an initiative for folks to come by and drop some goods, some food and stuff like that. But one thing that I respect with what he was saying, he said he's looking for, like uh, cleaner foods. So, maybe healthier, kind of like sardines or mackerels or whatever. Because a lot of the things that we're sending we've got to be mindful if they're unhealthy food, a lot of processed food, right? The 1 minute noodles and stuff like that,
Yep, yep,
right? When there's not
pasta
a
and
lot
all
of when there's not a lot of healthy benefits, right? I mean, yeah, people are hungry, but we also want to make sure that, because this is for the long term, right? To make sure
yes.
that whatever we're sending there and everything's appreciated. I can imagine, right? I'm not there, but I know, a hungry man is an angry man. So, if you don't have food to eat, you're gonna be
Yeah.
But with that being said, I think a commitment to healthy foods, especially when we know it's going to be challenging for them to get any type of things right now. So yeah, he's doing that, right? So yeah.
I want to circle back on what with the young men. What are some of the challenges you're hearing from them that our audience needs to know about?
I mean, there's so many things, right? But I think, interesting enough, I had we had an online conversation with some of the rites of passage young men today.
Yep.
And the conversation was interesting because the opening conversation was, and I can put this to Dr. Vibe, but you already probably answered this question a million times. If you had your own show as a young Black man, right? You're the host of your show. One person that you'd want to interview, and
Oh
why?
God,
And why?
that's
Well, here's the interesting thing. I mean, a lot of the young people, they answer the question, you had some typical things like, you want to speak to Jordan, speak to Kobe, whatever the case is. But there were a lot of the young men also who said this: I'd like to have my father, right?
mm,
And some of them are living with their father, some are not, right? But I want to talk to my father because I want to know what it was like when he was coming up as a young man.
that's powerful.
You know what I'm saying? And trust me, I was like, what? I'm like, wow, I totally did not expect that, right? Because we're thinking about celebrity or whatever, right? Like someone who's famous. But yeah, no, I want to talk to my dad. Like, what would that conversation look like, when my dad was younger?
You see, my mind is like twirling a million miles miles a minute right now, and that's powerful. What would be a great event if we could get 4 generations of Black men together.
Mhm. There you go.
I'm thinking because there's a grocery store I regularly shop at, and a number of years ago, I saw this older man pushing his cart there,
Right.
and we just began talking, and it was like, I don't know if people can relate, but I was listening to living history, and and we still have some of those people of that age in their 80s or whatever, where you could get Black men who in their 70s, 80s, Black men that are in our age group. Then you have younger Black men. So that's at least 3 generations right there.
Right. I
That
love that. I love that concept.
because for the last number of years, my life is some of the strongest knowledge I've got has been from the elders that are in their 70s, in their 80s. I love that stuff. Excuse me. I absolutely love that. So when this gentleman who comes in the grocery store, like, and there's some guys that I know, and whenever he comes in, they call me, they just say or text me, he's here. If I'm close, I'm
Mhm.
driving full flash to that grocery store.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just hang out, and he would tell me stories and just going, wow. And like, and I did take a picture of him about a year ago, and I because I just said, this guy's amazing, amazing guy.
And
And
this,
it's known research that Black boys, since we're talking about Black boys, the fatherhood or the mentorship involvement increases their positive possible outcomes.
Right. 100%.
I don't think anyone's going to deny that. And a bit of, and you know, and I want to give you flowers, Paul, because you have been doing that for a long time, rolling up your sleeves and getting into the hearts and minds and lives of young Black men. So I have to give you kudos to that for doing it consistently. We come back to that word that we said at the beginning, consistently for so many years, and you have such a great lens on this area. And again, nothing against the young ladies.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. We work with everybody, right?
Challenges there too, but we have to realize too that a guy's brain doesn't develop at the same rate or as pace as the ladies. Right. So there's a lot. I could go really down the rabbit hole. It's a whole other conversation. And when we get to the Black men, I've been doing soliciting and doing some research, but a lot of times research shows that women want men who are financially sound, and men, when it comes to economics, that's not the first thing they think about finding a mate in general. Just research shows.
Right.
And then when you hear stats like that and the challenges that many of us Black men have in a system that a lot of times doesn't give us favor, can be challenging. And I know our young men, oh boy, I really need to get around some young men again. I need to sit down and just listen.
Yeah, that's it. More time to tell folks again, just being present. It really makes a difference, right?
Oh yeah. I can fully understand that, because I'm sure that when they leave the environment that you're meeting with them, life happens.
Yeah, life happens.
You know, life happens, and things can happen in an instant. And the check and stuff. And you know, I have to put I've held back this, but I have to take out a book and put a long list of people that I got to check in with. And every time I check in with them, do a check mark, whether it's a phone call, whether it's a text message. And I'll give a perfect example. A person who I had not reached out with or to in a long, long time was Jonathan Juice Man Shaw.
The Juice.
Yeah. And I just called him up and we had a really good conversation. I can't divulge all of it here. And some of I just went, wow. Yeah. And I said, you know what? And it's sort of gave me a gut check a little bit. So, you know, I got to touch base with Juice more often. There was, when I was younger, him and I used to be like freaking frack. I remember the days.
I'm laughing because I think that was our introduction.
Was it?
Yeah. You remember, what's the name of the website, the social website, the Black website, back in the day?
Planet?
Black Planet. Remember they were coming here.
There was a group. There was three gentlemen that ran something for a number of years.
In Toronto. So I met you and Juice
at that event.
Yeah, at the whole.
Don't even go there. Don't even go there.
Yep. I remember there was like.
Don't even go there.
How far back, bro? It's some we got to pull those memories.
I gotta call Juice Man and tell him that was such an incredible. That was. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. We're going back. But you know, I like the fact that you mentioned the importance of and learning from elders. I actually went to an event at in Pickering. It's called the Black Joy Market, and I'm sitting there and I'm talking, and this elder comes up to me, this elder Black man, which is also important for us to obviously to learn from. He's like, I need your help. That's all he said, was I need your help. I was like, okay, give me a minute. I'm just I was doing something else, I came back again. He goes, yeah, I know, I'm gonna hold you to it, you're good for it, I can see. So I finally got around to coming to him, and he's like, yeah, I need your help. I said, okay, go ahead, let me know what's good. You know what I mean? And he's like, well, he was leading with the fact that he's from Westmoreland, Jamaica, and obviously, with the hurricanes. So he had written a book His name is Handel Dockery, and
Okay.
he wrote a book. And he was like, "Look, 100% of the proceeds are gonna go to help the folks back in Jamaica." So I was like, "Oh, say less." Because I wrote a book, about my journey of life. Some of it I'm not proud of. And I said, "Elder, it's your lesson, man. Good, bad, and ugly." I said, "There's a lesson for folks like me and younger to learn."
Yeah,
Right. So
absolutely.
I got the book. I mean, probably can't see it well because of the lights and stuff like that. But I'll give a shout out to Handel Dockery, and it's called My Journey to a Better Life, and it's about his life story. Right. I think he's saying he started in the States, and then he was actually a farm worker, and he said
Wow.
he escaped the poisonous fields to run to Canada.
Y- Isn't it? Do you notice that the further we go along in our journey, the more stories we have?
Yeah.
You know what? Because when you mention about farm workers, it was
Mm-hmm.
about 3 years ago, a little bit in Markham. People go, "Where's it's out at Greater Toronto area." I
Right.
went strawberry picking on a farm, and all the workers there were Jamaican, and they would
Mm,
come up during the summertime and there were some of them that have been doing it for like 15 years.
yeah.
I'm going, what? Like
Yeah.
15 years. And here's a challenge for people like you and I put it on a lot of people. Will we ever write a book?
Yeah. We're doing that now, brother.
Well, yeah,
We're
we're
doing
doing it digitally. So
we're doing
yeah, so
an
we're doing
oral book.
it digitally,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. We need to pen to paper. But yeah,
Yeah.
bestseller, the Dr. Vibe book. I'm there. I'm there for it.
Oh my gosh.
I'm there for it, brother. I'm there for it.
Huh.
Okay, so
Oh boy.
Kofi has one up on us. Kofi has written a book. So shout out to our brother Kofi, um, who has written his book. So definitely, I want to give it
Well,
up to him. Yeah,
I may cheat. I may just like record it and have someone like go write it for me. I'm not the pen
that's
to paper thing.
that's the method, bro. Look at the era that we're in now. Yeah, let's take our oral
Just like speak
conversation.
it. Well,
Yeah.
yeah, just speaking. Someone put words to it, but yeah, these days
Hmm.
I grab it if whenever I can get around an elder. I'm
Right.
just like I
Yeah.
am so there these days.
Yeah. Yeah.
I am so there these days. There's just so much. The stories are just like wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Just like it's not on a screen. It's like living history.
Yeah. Yeah. For sure. For
And
sure.
I always, like I said, if we could bring together some of those generations and just
Yeah.
have a session and just chat, like, you know, and I with the young men that you encounter on a regular basis, do they have curiosity?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. They're so open, man. They're so open. Yeah, they do.
Good.
They do have a lot of curiosity around, just life things. And again, you forget when I say life things, like you just really they kind of make you reflect on your own life's journey because they're
Yes.
curious about the most simplest things. Like the things like even I mean, what I'm loving is I have my same son that's he uh he won the fashion competition, but anyways, he works with me. Actually, I have to give a shout out to I also made
Yes, I was
safety.
gonna say shirt. Yes.
Yeah,
There
that's
you
him.
go.
Oh yeah, but he works with me with the young boys in the school after school
Okay.
program, and
See
they
that?
just think, listen, they think he's the coolest thing. When I walk in the room, it's like hello. When he walks in, it's like yeah. And I love that because it's important to have those generational connections, as you mentioned.
It's great modeling, though. It's
Yeah,
great modeling.
yeah, yeah.
It's great modeling. Like,
And I would say anybody who's working with young Black men, male or female, get a young person involved as an intermediary because when it comes to culture and coolness and what's hip and what's not, they're closer to those younger people. So I think it's just a necessary. And then the other, get an elder, right? So we need to work, and that's where you have the young, a little bit older than them, us, and then the elder, and that's
It's
like you said. That
such great modeling. That
yeah,
like that I don't maybe you don't know the impact that you and your son are having on those guys just by being there together, father and son, right?
yeah.
That's a huge footprint right there.
It's a funny question. One of them said to me, "Were you a teenage dad?" I said, "Because they look at the math, they look at him, looking at me, look at him, look at me, like, oh, so I guess you were a teenage dad." And this is like probably from 11 and 12-year-olds, right? So I'm just like, oh,
From 11 and 12-year-olds.
yeah, these are the younger ones in the school, right? So I'm just laughing. I'm like, okay, go ahead.
11 and 12-year-olds.
Yeah, incredible young people, So I will have to say that for sure.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, it's again, it's really about us spending that time and that energy. And I love what you're saying, about getting all of us in the same space, because it's important.
It'd be a great thing, and what would really make it valuable too if it was documented.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, for sure.
That would be the real strength
Mm-hmm.
to have that, and also though it's good to have that component, but it has to be what happens after that, because yes, it's good to have that event then and there. What's next? So is there something that can be maybe done once a year or every few months and get together, or and even maybe form a digital circle, right? Because to me, I see there's a lot of not say a lot of, a decent amount of hidden yearning and connection that I not just say young men, I just say Black men and Black boys are looking for, that for whatever reason they're not saying they need it.
Mm-hmm.
There's a number of factors there. That's a whole other conversation piece that they're looking for. I am blessed because I have, one of my closest guys, he's been gone away for a week and a half. I miss him.
Yeah.
Because him and I would chat almost every day, every other day. The greatest example I had of that is my dad. There were him and two other gentlemen. One of them transitioned about 5 years ago now, but they knew each other from Jamaica to here for like 70 years.
Yeah.
Would call each other every day, whatever.
Yeah.
And I don't know if we have living examples of that in our own lives.
Yeah.
You
just need one, brother. That's inspiration. All we need is the example, so we can be inspired. For sure. So I want to also, I know earlier you were talking about, having a conversation about some folks who are talking about health. There's an event coming up next next Saturday, I believe, November 22nd, that I want to kind of, if it's okay, I can highlight.
Absolutely, no problem.
Share.
Let's make it happen.
Screen. So I'm looking at these guys, but yeah, it's a Durham. It's called Ubuntu in Action: Building Health, Literacy, Building Community. November 22nd from 10 to 4 p.m. It's from the Durham Community Health Center, and it's a focus on us as Black men. So they're gonna have a one-day health forum focused on Black men's health, offering affirming services, community engagement, and health education. So come on out. Location is Milestone Churches, 610 Monarch Avenue in the Ajax. And they're looking for folks to register. I'm going to say, this is a call. I'm going to say a call out to folks to really try to get involved in this and try to register if you can. Just go to the Durham chc.ca website. You'll see it's called Ubuntu in Action, or you might see it on social media. But one of the things, a sister I know that's helping to organize it, she was saying that they had a goal, to look for around 400 participants, and they're way under that right now. So
I
call.
wish they would have. I wish I would have known about this
I was
because I
trying to
would
get
have
them
invited
on
them on the platform.
I was trying to get them on one of your shows. We've been trying. So the challenge, again, the challenge has been, it's one of these things. It's like the 9 to 5. Let's say that. So, they want to promote it, but I was telling them to come on this show, for example, and they're like, well, the person wasn't available. However, I said, I said my resume.
Okay, but
So they
so
may
let, if I
they may come on your show this week if you allow them.
okay,
Yeah.
yeah. So if I can politely interrupt, if they can't make it on this, they come on during the week. We make time for it.
That's what I said to them. I said that to them.
We make time for it, right?
Yeah.
There's room for everybody. Not every yes, I have set times to do certain shows, but I have other times. Let's work it to things like that. I'm all over that.
Right, for sure. So I did let them know that.
I'll just tell them, give me this. Let's talk. Let's get time. Let's just get it out there.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying for sure. So
right.
I'm
Let's just get it out there.
Yeah, I'm hoping to reach that event on Saturday. That's my goal, is to make sure I can go out there, support it, and maybe bring some. I also have to bring some folks with you. Don't come alone. Don't show up alone. Right? Bring 1 or 2 people. Maybe bring some young people. Bring some elders. Whatever it is. Some people your age, but bring a person along. Right? So hopefully we can get that going. But I really gonna shed some light on that. So yeah, it's been pretty good. Been pretty good to connect today and share some of those pieces around that. So
Wonderful.
Yeah, any final thoughts, Dr. Vibe?
Well, I think 2.
Okay.
I will say that a number of years ago, I had a chance to speak with a gentleman named D. Chansonberry. And people say, well, I don't know who he is. And you probably wouldn't. There was 2 documentaries called Dark Girls and Dark Girls 2. Many, many years ago. And it's about how some women who are dark don't like their darkness, do the skin whitening, etc., talking about all the colorism and all that stuff. And I remember having him on the show many years ago. And one of the things he said is that I want to stop hearing about our people surviving, and I want to hear us start thriving. And then another thing I speak to everybody is, as much as possible, I want to see in your life getting to do things, not gotting to do things.
Love it.
Having a get to life instead of a got to life.
Yeah.
I've done over 6,000 of these. It is not something I've got to do. I get to do it.
You get to do it, yeah.
So there's at least one out of many areas of my life I get to do something that I enjoy, that it's bigger than me.
Yeah.
So that's what I'll leave with. What about yourself?
2 things as well. I mean, they're related, but one is, take care of yourself. Take care of yourself. And then the other part is check on a brother.
Yes.
Check in. Just check in on a brother. See how, he's doing. Right?
Yeah.
Could be a text, could be a call, could be a WhatsApp. You know what I mean? Could be just stop by. I have some brothers in my life. I love them. They just stop by my house. I just love that. But check in on your brother this week and make sure you're also taking care of yourself. Don't ignore that, that little pain and ache I should have been taking care of for a week. Take care of yourself. Check in with yourself too. Right? So I want to kind of leave on that note as well.
Okay. Well, it's well said. So as we begin to wrap it up, subscribe to the Dr. Vibe Show on YouTube, hit the notification button, like the Dr. Vibe Show on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Blue Sky, and Substack. What else? I will say, if you want to get a hold of this wise young man, Mr. Sadat, nazojam@gmail.com, Instagram, Maroon. I love that so much. And has a community on YouTube, Facebook, paul.osbourne.31. Kofi Morris, get well, stay fit @gmail.com. Instagram, Kofi Kofi Coach _ and Cosmic Wellness Group, and also Kofi Coach on Facebook. I just do it one thing. If you want to touch base with me, taplink.cc / Dr. Vibe Show. And you can catch replays of this epic conversation on the Dr. Vibe Show YouTube, LinkedIn, and Facebook, and the Dr. Vibe Show website, and Paul Osbourne on Facebook. So this is how we wrap it in this world. Live your life as a dream. If you can dream it, you can make it. Sometimes you have to get smaller, get stronger, block assumptions, aim bigger, aim better, aim higher, aim wider, love, faith, and respect. Don't just manage your time, manage your energy, and remember to give yourself grace. And if you're not making money, make history. Try to do both and make it better. God bless. Peace well. Keep the faith and walk good. We'll see you soon.
Time that our parents, they're like, I have nothing to teach you. I don't know nothing. And they know
my dad's at that point now. It says,
That's my point.
But I'd say, no, Dad, you got lots more to give. You know how cold it is when these two brothers in their yard.
You know that. You know that. You don't know that, bro. You know
No
that.
joke.
I know we all have these things, but you know what? My go-to is this thing.
Wow.
Black book is in the
Black book.
Men Talk, Black Book.